Okay, y'all, I'm super pumped for the Zoom tonight. We have special guest Jill Peterson on. And so I'm really excited because Jill, I know parts of your story from just like hodgepodges of things. And I know we've seen each other at events and stuff like that. But I'm really excited for you to share a little of your heart tonight and even more nitty-gritty details of all the things. So if you want to unmute and start with that, and then we'll get into some questions. Will it let you unmute? No, let's see. Okay. It has to unmute. What? Okay, I don't know what's going on, but we'll figure it out.
I just want to warn you guys, if a kid comes in here, just ignore it. We just got home from football practice, like a half an hour late. So that's just the madness of my life. But hello, you guys. So a little background on me. So this is my second time with It Works. It's like my 9 millionth network marketing company. Me and my husband got married really, really young. I was 19, he was 21, high school sweethearts. And when I had my son when I was 20, that's when I started dabbling into like working from social media, all of those things, because drop a one in the chat if you're a mom and you just didn't want to go back to work. That was me. And I just couldn't imagine going back to work. My husband's an over the road trucker. So literally everything relied on me. And I was like, the stress of that, I couldn't deal with it. But I was like failure after failure after failure. And I just kind of gave up on it. And in 2016, I actually joined It Works for the first time. I met up with my friend's cousin, like distant cousin at a bar. She had like a whole pamphlet of like all this It Work stuff. And it looked like a dream. And she was like a nurse, she was a diamond. So she was making like $2,000 a month. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I could make that, I could stay home with my kids. So she really casted that vision, which is good. Like she casted that vision for me. But once I got in, I had no help. I had no guidance, anything. So it was just another flop for me. So I just kind of swore off network marketing. I was like, I'm done with it, not going to do it. We're just going to struggle our whole lives. Like we were so far in debt. My husband, I kind of married into debt. He had a lot of loans and we just weren't the best with managing our money. And after I had my daughter, I made the decision to quit my full-time job and I started in-home daycare. And at that point, I was like, we're going to be rich. I'm going to be like, we're going to finally get ahead. But we were back in that same boat again after a few months, just because the kids ate a lot, they broke stuff. So it was always having to replace it. And then I had to rely on other people to pay me to be able to pay my bills. And it was just, we were back in that same situation. It was about a year into doing daycare. And I kind of lost myself. We were struggling so far in debt. My husband was gone all the time over the road, and I had millions of kids at my house. And so I started binge eating really, really bad. And I gained a lot of weight. I was almost 250 pounds. And I was just looking for like a miracle, something that could help me lose weight. I did love the products the first time I tried them in 2016. I was back to my pre-pregnancy weight really fast. And I saw a host to post. It was a coffee host post. I reached out to her and I was like, hey, how much is it to join the business? Because I knew I couldn't do the auto ship. And so I joined as a distributor that Friday. I had to wait until I got my paycheck. And I left her on red for about a month. And then she messaged me. She's like, hey, this is back when you could get the shopping spree. So it was in 2018. And she was like, hey, you have like 3 days left to get your shopping spree. Do you want to work the business? I was like, well, I just ran out of coffee and I have no money. So I worked really hard. She helped me out. It was the only 2 customers I've ever had placed under me in my entire time of being in the business. And we got my shopping spree. And I was like, that was actually pretty easy. Like she was there to help me. So if that's a sign for you guys, always be there for your newbies and don't give up on them, because I left her on red for a really, really long time. But I went diamond in 5 months, and then 2 months later we went double. And in the middle of all this, I was saving all my sample cash, I was saving all my weekly bonuses, and I saved enough to get a down payment on a house. And I didn't tell my daycare parents, but that was like my big goal, was to be able, my kids were sharing a bedroom. We had a teeny tiny house. And I don't advise this for people to buy a house right off the bat, but that's just me. I'm kind of like fly by the seat of your pants. And we started house hunting and we had all that money saved up. We found a farm And within like 2, 3 months, we were moving, and I went double diamond the exact same month that we moved. So it was madness, but here we are, almost 5 years later. I mean, I'm full time at home with the kids. The business has done so much for me, not just income wise, but as who I am as a person. Because I'm not that broken mom that I was 5 years ago. I literally hated who I was as a person. The friendships I've made in this business and the community is really what got there, what got me to where I am today. So that's a little bit about me. Erin, do you want me just to kind of go into it, or you want to? I'll let you
I'm gonna
take it away.
ask you, I'm gonna ask you one thing, because obviously, you went in the business twice, but did you feel like you went into it with a different mindset? Because okay, there might be people that are listening to this and maybe they've been in for a couple of years and maybe they haven't hit certain ranks and different things, but don't you feel like you could kind of address that with the same mindset shift of like what changed or what did you do that was different to just say, okay, this time we're gonna make sure that it works.
Yeah. So when I got in this second time, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I was embarrassed because I've done it before. I've done other companies, and I was like scared to tell my husband because I bought a $20 builder kit, like back when they used to do that all the time. And I was like, he's gonna be so annoyed that I did this. And I told him, and he was like, seriously? Like, you're gonna fail at it again. It's just a waste of money. And that kind of fueled my fire. And I was like, I'm kind of the person that's like, I'm gonna prove you wrong. But also, we were at our all-time low, and what could it hurt? Like, that was my mindset going into it. And then I realized, like, one customer, you get those like butterflies in your stomach. I don't know about you, Erin, but me 5 years later, I still get those butterflies. Like, I'll get today, I got customers, and I'm like, oh, I'm so excited! Like, cannot wait to put your information. You never lose that, or with distributors. And that just really fueled my fire. And I was like, okay, this is honestly so simple. But like the fact that, I mean, I did in-home daycare. I had kids at my house from 5:30 in the morning till sometimes 7 o'clock at night, and my husband was gone. I was like, I don't want this. Like, that is what pretty much fueled me, is my husband like doubting me, but also I hated my life. I hated where I was in my life. I expected more out of my life. And so that's what really pushed me. But my mindset was, I don't care what other people think. In the past, I've let like my friends, like I had some really toxic friends. They defined what clothes I wore, what I did with my life. And I was just so sick and tired of it. And I just wanted to truly be who I was as a person. And this was my thing. This was, I mean, the roadmap to get me to where I am today. So that was kind of what fueled me, is just that motivation and me wanting to change my situation, because I was just so tired of it.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so I know when we were chatting earlier, because I know you mentioned, being a new distributor and you left her on red and all the kinds of things. Will you talk about, because I know you said, we were talking about just like business strategies and things that you're like, oh my gosh, I got this in the bag, whatever. So I know that you have an awesome newbie onboarding system. Will you talk a little bit about what you do? Because I think either sometimes you can like do so many things or like blowing up their phones and different things and then people still ghost you, or it could be you have those people that just hit it off the bat. And so talk a little bit about that process and what it's like for onboarding your new distributors.
Yeah. So we all know that not everybody's going to actually work the business, right? So you have to, don't go into the mindset of nobody's going to work. You have to go into it that they want this as bad as you wanted the business. Okay. So that's like number one. You have to have high hopes for them. So I'm going to use Renee, this new girl. I don't even know. I think I gave my team her ID. I don't know if they're on here or not, but she is brand new. She started last month. She's in her first like 60 days. And my onboarding. So once they get started, I add them to my team page. They watch like a welcome video. It kind of goes over 4-in-1 and just explains the business, just the gist of it. Like, I feel like if you give them too much information, they're overwhelmed. They don't understand it. A confused mind says no, and then they don't message you back. And that's happened in the past. So I've had to like kind of play around with it a little bit and just like revise it. So simple is best. And I just kind of talk about the business. I have them log into eSuite. This is all in my startup video. Log into eSuite, fill out your tax information, but also send me a screenshot of what your website is. So I have that for my records. And then I can also show them that they have that too for themselves. But obviously we don't use that really anymore, but that way they have it. And then once they do that, I have them post the gummies or whatever host to post your team is working on. I have them posted as their status, and I have them actually tag me, and we go in 3-way conversation. So if somebody comments on the post, they want more information, we're instantly in a 3-way conversation. I'm telling them about the product so they can kind of see the flow of the conversation. And then within 24 to 48 hours, I'm getting them on the phone. And when I get them on the phone, it's not like, okay, you need to do this, 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 and this. It's more like, who are you as a person? What are your goals? What can I relate with you? Like how can I help you be successful in this business? You can kind of tell, but you can't judge a book by the cover, but sometimes you can tell if they're like, oh, I don't have time to talk to you, or I can't call, whatever, they're making excuse after excuse. They must not want the business really that bad. Don't give up on them though. Still message them at least like once a week or twice a week. But you want to try to get them on the phone right away and make that initial connection. Either get them on Zoom, FaceTime, or just a phone call. Like sometimes I'll even do it when I'm on the road because sometimes I'm really busy with the kids. And so basically what it is me just saying, tell me about yourself. This doesn't have to be a long phone call. I just want to get to know you and help you with your goals. So, what do you do for a living? They'll talk about themselves and I'll figure out where I can relate with them with that. Just because then I mentally can remember that and I'll write it down too. I'll write down notes if I need to. And then what does your schedule look like? And what are your goals like? And do you have any kids? Just tell me like things that really interest you. And if they're working full time, I ask them, okay, so do you want this as a full-time thing? Or what is your goal? Like, do you have a bill? This is something that I've been asking lately, and it helps like kind of put a little motivation under them. Are you behind on any bills right now? And if you have a bill that you're behind on, how much is it? Because we can break down those weekly bonuses. And so that kind of puts a little fire underneath of them. So I'm going to use Renee as an example for this right here. So Renee, I got her on the phone and she was really, really excited. And the next day she said, Jill, I cannot do this. I was like, why? I was like, what's happening? Like what's wrong? And oh, also, sorry, this is backtracking a little bit. I also am doing messenger party too. So when we're on the phone, I explain what a messenger party is. And that day they make a list of 25 to 30 people and we send messages to get them to that party. And that's usually where they get their first few customers. But anyway, she was just like, I'm overwhelmed. I can't do this. My schedule is so busy. And I called her and I said, give it a chance. I was like, just breathe for a second. And she's like, no, I really think I'm going to give up. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give you a second to breathe. And the next day she signed a customer out of nowhere. And I was like, Renee, I was like, where did this come from? She's like, well, I have a team newbie chat. I don't want everybody to post the same thing all the time, but to get them into the rhythm of posting, I'll put like an example post. Sometimes it'll be just like a post, copy and paste this, go post on your status. We'll do like 3 posts a day. So they have content to put on their page. And so she was just still posting. And she was like, I learned how to do the app or whatever, send the shopping cart link because I have a video on how to do that. And she was like, that was really, really easy. And then she sent customer, another customer, another customer. And she just 2 weeks ago finished her builder bonus. She has, I think, over 3,000 in brand new volume in her first 60 days. She's like only 100 volume from going Ruby right now, and she's absolutely killing it. So just don't, hold on. Good night. Love you. um, but just don't give up on those people. And if they say, like, it's so easy. So when somebody says, I can't do this, it's so easy for us to say, okay, no problem. But find a solution because there's honestly a reason why they're in the business. There's a reason why they got into your inbox, or there's a reason why why you messaged that person. And you might not think that because I know we message all the time. We ask people all the time, like, have you ever thought about doing the business? There's a reason. There's a reason that you guys connected, and it's because you can actually change their lives. And she got like over a $700 bonus last week, and she was like, Jill, like I just got $700 from online. And I'm like, I know, because you're absolutely killing it. And just everybody, all of my newbies this month, except for maybe one, have all signed customers just because we make that connection right away, right off the bat. And I know what their goals are, so I can help break it down for them. So that's pretty much just what I do. That's like the first like 3 or 4 days. I know it's a lot for 3 or 4 days. And I tell them if this is too much, we can go at a slower pace because I just don't want to overwhelm them, because I feel like that's where I feel like the disconnect was for me for a long time, because I would sign a distributor and we'd talk on the phone and I wouldn't hear from them again because I would overwhelm them because I would give them too much information. But if I let them talk to me more, people love to talk about themselves. If they're talking about themselves to me, they're going to remember, they're going to think it was the best conversation ever because we enjoy it. We love talking about our family or things that we're passionate about. And so they'll always remember that. And then you can, like, that one thing, like, what do you want to pay for? That goal, like that little why, when they first get started, that's what they're going to push for. So like I have a girl who her electricity is about to get shut off. And she was like, was like $75 or something. I was like, okay, let's go sign like 8 customers. So she's doing host to post. She's doing the things that she needs to do. I have another girl who She works in a hair salon. At first she was scared. She was like, I'm not gonna be able to do this. Like I don't have a good schedule. And then she was like, wait, we have like a hair oil. I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, I can sell that really, really good. And she's like, my schedule sucks, but she just earned her first $50 bonus today. She closed it out because she's just really excited. She said, I'm in love with this business. She's been in for like a week and a half. She's like, I'm in love with this business and I want to do it full time. So we're gonna get on the phone in a few days and we're gonna talk about like a 3-month goal to get her to making $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month by just going diamond and working on those weekly bonuses.
I love it. And I think it's, we always, like you said, confused mind says no, but we think about like our kids or, you're teaching them certain things. We have to give them the breakdown. But each person's going to be different. Cause for me, when I got started, I was like, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And like, I just went and did those things, but then you kind of figure it out. But then other people, you might need that hand holding or the guidance a little bit more. So it's just taking the time for that. Let's talk a little bit about enrollments. Like, where do you feel like most of your enrollments are coming from as far as like distributors, customers? Are you doing a ton of reels? Are you doing any like in-person events? Like, where are people coming from as far as your enrollments?
A lot. It's kind of just everything at once. I mean, I do a lot of host to post, but I also post like I do a lot of my own results for stuff, and I'll show myself. I like to make content and like show myself using the products, my before and after pictures. A lot of it's not instant people getting signed up. A lot of it's follow up and me being very, very consistent. I get a lot of people on my stories on Facebook and Instagram. They're just like, I can tell a difference in X, Y, and Z. I think I want to try it. And I've been really this anybody else getting blocked on Facebook all the time. It literally hates me this month. I'm blocked all of the time. So what I'm doing is on Instagram, I've never when I went triple, I got blocked every single week for at least 24 hours. Like they would literally block my whole account. Nobody could even find it. And so I had no other choice but to go over to Instagram and I killed it on Instagram. I was getting customers all the time, but I stopped doing it because Facebook was it was like my main thing. And so I'm like, why am I not using the things that I have? Like I can use my TikTok, my Instagram, my Facebook, use all the platforms that I have. So lately what I've been doing is on Instagram, I've been doing 2 reels a day. One that's just like an interactive one to get like followers. I'll just go like I shared a cow video that I literally copied it from TikTok and I posted it today. The other day, it was like a stupid 5-minute craft one and it has like over 100 some thousand views. And I was like, it was the stupidest video, but people love that kind of stuff. And then I'm engaging with people who I'm following on my Instagram. So I'm adding or following at least 100 people a day, but I'm also sending a positive vibe message. I'll send it in the I don't know who came up with this message. Um, but I've used it for so long. I'll just send this to people. I'll start following them. And then the next day I'll go and I'll interact on some of their posts and then I'll watch their story and I'll just send that. And they always follow me back. Or they'll say, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And then I'll take some downtime like in the afternoon. I don't usually get a lot of people messaging me back in the afternoon just because people are at work and stuff. So I'll go through and I will see if they've looked at my message, and if they didn't like it, I'll unfollow them because I don't wanna have, like, an abundance of people that I'm following that aren't gonna interact with me, whatever. But I started messaging, cold messaging. I know some people hate that. I don't really care that I wanna help people get started on product. I wanna get more customers. But I'll interact with people, whatever. Like, most people have got that positive vibes message. So I don't know if that's a cold message or not. We've connected somehow, but I'll go and I'll message them and I'll just say, I don't even know what the message is. Something about hair. So I'm obsessed with the new hair products that we have. And I'm just like, hey, don't know if you're interested. I know this is kind of awkward, but do you have any hair goals? I have a new product that I'm looking for testers for right now. And then I talk about the serum and the gummies. And I have so many people interested, and so many people have shopping cart links. And like, as soon as I get paid, I'm going to order this product for you. And I'm always showing myself almost every single day. You'll see me. Like I was doing like last week, I was doing like kind of vlog things. And it was just like throughout the day, little snippets of my day. And people were seeing me always doing the hair oil. And I'd have people in my inbox, okay, is that oil actually working? Today I posted about the aloe randomly. I'm going to start doing the aloe. And I had 3 people swipe up on my story and like, does that really help your gut? They're watching me. It's like watching a reality TV show. That's how I always feel like Instagram is. And I'm very real and raw on my Instagram. People can tell if you're not being authentic. So I just encourage you to be yourself. But I kind of went off on a tangent on that, but everything is kind of just tying into itself. So I do 10 minimum host posts every single day. I work on my Instagram and I'll do like, it'll either be an opportunity or a product reel and then just an interactive reel every single day on Instagram. And TikTok, I try to do 3 a day just to kind of, on my TikTok, I do it so they can add me on my Instagram. I don't understand TikTok very much. I don't get the whole messaging and stuff. I'm not going to message people on TikTok because I feel like people are kind of mean over there, but that's what I'm doing. It's all just kind of tying into itself.
I love it. I think that that's great ideas and different things. And I mean, it's, at the end of the day, you want to be yourself. And I think more and more people are seeing authentic sides on Instagram. And I feel like if you're not doing that, it's almost like you're not getting all the hype and attention like you used to. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about self-development real fast. Do you have any like book recommendations or anything that you're like, this is my absolute favorite thing? Or one that's just really, really touched you in a way that you want to share?
Yeah, I actually just finished one. I randomly found it on Audible. It's called Living Fully by Mallory Irvin, and it was really, really good. And then there's another one, Believe It by Jamie Kern Lima. I've read that I always do it on Audible. I'll listen to it throughout the day. I'll be like doing laundry, I'll be washing the dishes, and I always have my Audible on. Those are two of my favorite ones. And then I like listening to Jay Shetty on YouTube when I'm in the gym. I'll just listen to a podcast or something like that. But I always have something on in the background. There was, honestly, I'm going to be honest, like kind of vulnerable with you guys for a second. Like 3 months ago, I stopped doing my self-development and I was getting into my head so bad. And I was just like, I did not feel right. I mean, I was working a lot, but I also wasn't happy with myself. And so I've like made sure to dedicate time every single day to doing my self-development. And I feel so much better. And I feel like I'm a better leader for it too, because I feel like when we do self-development, we always learn things and we can always relay it down to our team or our sidelines or our friends, things like that.
Okay, so one more question, then I'll ask you like the final question. So if anybody has any questions, they can drop them in the chat. But as far as, because multiple times, you mentioned being a product of the product and how important that is for your business and just doing that. So what if somebody's like, maybe they just haven't like gone all in as far as like being a product of the product. Like for me, I just actually finished my 3rd thing of the hair gummies. So I'm like, okay, I can finally get a trim because I need it. But like I've had all this like new growth and everybody's commenting on it. Because I had like this whole chunk was like burnt and fried and all the things. And I'm like, okay, we're finally evening out and people are commenting. But I'm able to talk about that and having those result pictures and seeing people in person. They're like, your hair is like so much healthier. It's crazy. But what would you say your biggest piece of advice, or is there one product that you're like, hey, this is an easy thing to start with? I know you talked a little bit about the hair products, but
Honestly, I think I mean, they could just get like if they're brand new and they don't need to lose weight or anything like that, the serum, I feel like you can get really good results with just the serum. And it's a cheaper product too. So they don't have to invest that much into it. But I mean, they could use, I have a friend, one of my girls on my team. Her name's Claire, and she was pregnant when she started, and she's like, how am I going to promote this? And I was like, have your husband do a 90-day challenge. And he had really, really, really good results. So having a friend or your husband or a spouse, or I mean, like if it's anybody on my team, I'm always like, you can share my results until you get your own, but always be on some kind of journey because people love watching that. But I always tell people, be a product of the product, use your products and share yourself consistently every single day. But find something. You could do the greens, honestly. I mean, the greens don't taste the best. I always talk about like I'll be honest with people. I just do mine with orange juice. You could do your greens and literally talk about how it makes you feel, or do the aloe. Everybody can benefit from the aloe. Talk about how it makes you feel. The Profi. I love the Profi. I swear by that stuff. You could talk about how it makes you feel. Just find one product and stick to that one product. I kind of float around to different products, but still, I mean, I have like everybody sees me with my coffee every single morning. You don't like coffee? Don't. I was talking to Lori. I don't know if you guys know who Lori is, the regional for the central region or whatever. This morning we were talking actually about authenticity, and she was like, I'm so sick and tired of people on their Instagram showing up as somebody that they're not. They literally hate coffee and they'll dump their coffee out. They've told her that. And don't do that. If you don't like coffee, don't go promote the coffee. Go promote the hydrate. Go, you don't have to do anything that's drinkable. Go promote the hair stuff. You can make it people at Monet, I don't ever name drop, but people at Monet, that's all they do is hair products. You could be that hair girl. You could be that girl with the cool hair or the coffee girl, whatever it is. What product are you the most passionate about? Find that one and just be really, really loud about it. Almost be annoying. It's okay. It's fine. That's your job.
Yes, exactly. Well, for me, I honestly, like, I tried all the coffees and even like the Profi, I'm like back to keto coffee. Like, I just can't get off of it. And I love it because I love the collagen and it's my jam. So I'm like, okay, I'm back at keto coffee. I love it. Okay. So one other question before the final one. Lakin asked if you have any other tips as far as Instagram goes, or just anything that's been super helpful in addition to what you already shared.
I would say if you're going to really like dedicate yourself to working on Instagram, do it for at least an hour every day. It takes consistency. Like you can't just go and do a lot of work for 3 days and then stop. It's just like how you do like your host to post and stuff. You're not going to get a lot of results right away until you do it consistently. So you have to dedicate yourself to doing it consistently. If you're going to post 2 reels a day, you need to actually post 2 reels a day, not just Monday through Friday. I know some people take a Sabbath. That's totally fine, but I'm trying to dedicate myself. It does take a little bit of time. Go follow some leaders and remake their reels. I mean, they're posting them for a reason. They're good. And if it's not good, that's fine. You're being consistent. The algorithm's going to catch up and you're going to have something blow up on there.
I love it. Okay, so one final question that I always end our Zooms with is, obviously whatever part, you want to talk about, but if you could go back and tell yourself one thing that you would change, or you would be like, gosh, Jill, I wish you would have known this when you first got started in the business, or one piece of advice that you're like, I wish somebody would have told me this. What would be that one thing for you?
Mine would be to lock arms with your team. You don't have to be the top enroller on your team every single month. You don't have to be the best on your team every single month, because if your team isn't leveling up to your level, they're going to fall behind. I don't know. I'm just vulnerable on here today. I lost rank after I went double diamond. I went back to diamond and I was so embarrassed, and I had to completely redo my chart because I was out enrolling my team, but I was just placing. I wasn't teaching. And it ruined my chart. I had to completely redo it multiple times. And I didn't realize until maybe 2 years ago. I was like, I'm not being a leader. I'm trampling over my whole entire team. So you have to actually take the time and lead. And it's so much more fun. Like I literally compete with some of the leaders on my team. We're like neck and neck for enrollments right now. And I'm like, stop. She messaged me today and she was just like, you have 2 more than me. I'm like, well, get in gear. Like, let's do it. It's so much fun running with them instead of being like, oh, look at me. I'm the top enroller again. What's the fun in that? I'm always up for a good competition. It always pushes me, but I don't want to be the only one winning on my team. So don't be selfish. Teach your team how to do that exact same thing that you're doing every single day. Take the time. It does take time to have to train people, but it also takes time to get to where you want to be financially. Okay. It doesn't happen overnight. You want to put in that work and feel good about it at the same time, because we're literally in the business of changing people's lives, but you're not changing somebody's life if you're just getting them a paycheck that's 1,000, like they go diamond and they make a $2,000 paycheck and they lose rank next month because they don't know how to do the business. They're getting one paycheck that's $2,000, then it's going to go back down to like $400. What are you actually doing for that person? They're going to feel like crap because they're not going to know how to build back to where they were, and they want to be in that same financial situation. They want to be better. They want to have more money in their bank account. So you have to just kind of take that time to teach them how to do the business and actually build rubies and sign distributors and train their distributors.
I love it. That was a great tip. Well, that's all we have for tonight, unless if you have anything else that was on your heart that you wanted to share. But I just appreciate you taking time out. And I know, evenings are crazy with kids and all the things, but I appreciate you sharing your heart tonight, and y'all go shout her out. It was awesome. But I hope y'all have a great night, and we'll see y'all next Monday. Bye, y'all.